afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and riveting, amazing Propagandacast with me, host and Paul.A.D, and the one, the only Master of Propaganda. Off here to a 1 vs 1 on Crossroads. In the north, it is Jove fighting here for America, freedom, democracy, taking on the role of the 2nd Armored Division. Whereas in the south, it is Paul.A.D fighting for Germany, Deutschland. Rolling out here with the Panzerdivision using elite armored, Feuersturm and Grand Offensive with Jove wielding armor, urban assault and rifle company. Both sides relying large on infantry bullets with a single medical supplies bullet in there for Paul.A.D. Committing to double full grenadiers, with Jove committing to double riflemen. So far, nothing out of the usual there. Standard openings there. Both sides, as you might notice, are committing heavily to the western side. So in this case, it's obviously disruptive start here for Paul.A.D to throw off Jove's early game. As for Jove, it's just, business as usual. So yeah, Paul.A.D though is definitely going to try and sort of disrupt Jove's early game. Hope to gain sort of an initial advantage of that and sort of build off the momentum from that. We'll have to see if he can succeed in that, but if he can gain momentum, it can be difficult for Jove to break. Well, actually not so much. The Ober Command West tends to have a hard time sort of maintaining momentum as a faction in my experience. It's like initially they're very strong and then can sort of have a bit of a dip and then but usually gets sort of bounced back, but they struggle to maintain momentum. Anyways, wrapping up with the Sturmpanzers, very close engagement. Almost got along here with the riflemen, and the Sturmpanzers do pull through with their assault rifles. Up north, these ones catching the full by the CoH point or the fuel point, but over here he's dug in. And Jove's forces have been slightly thwarted there, so he'll begin to disperse forces eastwards, and of course he may just end up making a big shift towards the east initially instead of trying to fight around here. Versus Paul.A.D, who could continue to sort of dig himself into the cemetery, which was going to be very difficult for Jove to then dig him out of, at least initially. We got more riflemen on the way there for Jove. Paul.A.D's also beginning to dispatch forces eastwards. Got the point there. We'll have to see what Jove ends up with here. Reason's going to fight with the full grenadiers. Probably just sort of to keep them occupied, I think. Riflemen reinforcing, good to go. In the south, nothing further going on there for Paul.A.D. Probably going to be another full grenadier squad than a truck. And for Joe, I imagine it's going to be the lieutenant. That could be the captain either way, probably just as soon as he gets the resources for that. There we go, more full there for Paul.A.D. No surprises there. It looks like Jove is going to try and launch a major assault here on the cemetery to clear out the Paul.A.D minor force from it, as Paul.A.D is now going to force or send more troops here to deal with Jove's eastern push here. Yeah, he's definitely going to try and make another push for the cemetery. With only one full grenadier squad, it may just work out. We got there Paul.A.D with Feuersturm, and Jove actually commits to the company command post and the captain. Bit of a rare sight, honestly, in 1 vs 1. Because also since we've seen Jove going a lot for the Lieutenant M20 and been having great success with that. So him now committing to the company command post is an interesting shift there from Jove. There we go. Assault being launched. Notice also quickly kept moving up behind to hit the CoH point first. So they're successfully pulling off a larger assault. There we go. Quickly outmaneuvering Paul, and he ends up just retreating. If he just launched a head-on assault, who knows? Things might have ended up a bit longer here, but instead with this, he's quickly freeing up resistance, can just more quickly move against the remainders of Paul's forces. So nice move there by Jove. Focus on there in the east, we got Focus moving up as well there. Trotting away there for Paul.A.D. With this kind of build, Battle Group headquarters seems more likely, but he could always surprise with a mechanized regiment. We'll have to see. Captain there almost done for Jove. Grabbing points here, tank traps up there by the victory point, rifleman falling a bit back before moving ahead. Doesn't want to run into any more full grenadiers hiding about here, since that could end up not as a great engagement there for Jove. Truck out there.
Captain just took the battlefield.
Captain out there for Jove. We'll have to see what it ends up with. Probably an early BAR. There we go. Beyond that, probably we're going to be seeing the mechanized company command post up, and then anti-aircraft half tanks here. Probably also some pack houses, since they are very popular if you do go for it. Company command posts. We got Riflemen forces in the east. Eastern side they're open, also pushing up with the reactions there. Riflemen basically ganging up before moving towards the centre there. And there you go, Fulton the captain with a BAR on top of the Thompson he's already wielding. The Fulton they have absolutely no chance against him since he doesn't have the MP40s. If the Fultons had the MP40s, that would be a slightly different story, but without it, they're dead. Or at least they have to retreat. Here up in the centre, we've got Fultons as double riflemen. They can buy some time without more serious firepower. They're going to not last long. And we do get the mechanized regiment here for Paul.A.D. Again, Battle Group headquarters in some ways, but being the more sort of natural go-to due to all the infantry he's going to be having, and their much bigger emphasis due to all the MP40s like he's going to be having. So I don't know. Mechanized regiment, of course, isn't a bad choice. It's very strong. building there, of course, for the orbital command for the looks and all that, but, you know, doesn't quite necessarily as easily synergize with a lot of Fultz grenadiers with MP40s. Anyways, Jove, they're heading across the frontier, hitting all the points. Paul.A.D, of course, again, initially great momentum, but once that's broken, they do tend to struggle a bit to regain it. But again, that's only usually for a bit. And usually this is where the looks comes in to sort of regain momentum, and it usually maintains it much harder. But there you go, ambulance out here for Jove. No doctrine yet for him, though. There's certainly a few choices there versus Paul.A.D. All, I would say, solid. Grab the western field point here. That's the eastern one we can see is there by Jove. Got full swinging head. Also got an MG-34 to fight Jove's infantry. And we got an anti-tank gun as Jove is likely already anticipating that Paul.A.D is going to push for Luxus or Puma. Rather than taking losses, MP40 is almost done. He's just charging in, ready to sort of time it with the MP40s appearing. And there you go. Well-timed attack. Rifle there being routed. Captain there is going to be the next victim here of the swarm there that Paul.A.D is unleashing. A huge horde of infantry. Got grenade off there. Anticipating that Joe would actually retreat, he didn't, and instead loses a full screen score. He did get a rifle wipe though, so not too bad. On the hand, he did lose an MP40 upgraded full screen score. So it's actually a bit more expensive than the rifleman. So that was a bit of an expensive assault there for Paul.A.D. I mean, he did get Jove out of there, but the question of course is whether that was entirely worth it. Rifling about here, fighting here for the western point. Got reasons with the full screen the Sturm Pioneers. That's going to be a lost engagement there for Joe at most. Basically do is just buy some time, but you know, avoid losing the reassurance. Got the anti-aircraft taken away for Joe. We got Fulton away there for Paul.A.D, noting he's got no anti-tank weapons, so he is not going to be quite at least right away ready for it. Also, to note, he could go for the looks here, but he actually commits to the Fulton grenadier squad first. That might give Jove's anti-aircraft task a lot more time to give him a hard time. In particular, yep, he's using the supervisor ability. Thumbs up there to Jove. Rarely utilised, but except by some of the really good players. There now. Do keep in mind if you do go for the captain, the supervisor ability is really good in just, you know, suddenly jumping out with stuff they're a bit faster than my opponents might actually anticipate. So 2 thumbs up there to Jove, honestly. Season Eastern fuel pool now. I mean, Paul.A.D is now looking much stronger in the fuel department, but again, the anti-aircraft after is going to leave him a bit sad for a while, anyways. Push for the car point there is met with heavy anti-aircraft half-track fire there, backed up by infantry from Jove and the 2nd Armoured. As Paul.A.D and the Panzer slightly pulling back. Sturm Pioneers got the victory point there, but certainly also got pretty close between the two players there, by the way. And MG-34 opening up there, very good. Rifle relations there standing about, and we got the looks on the way there for Paul.A. No, cancels it. Probably due to the half-track, he just wants a Puma out. I mean, that also makes sense. Forcing up the eastern side, and there we go. Puma, the 234-2. As there were numerous versions based on that particular chassis of the armoured car. There was also versions with a 75mm cannon, and there's also a version with a PaK-40 mounted on. Note, those were more like assault guns in a sense, like, you know, they had no turret. And they're basically meant to replace the Puma, because as it turns out, German High Command was not particularly sold on it, because they were it would make the reconnaissance crews a bit too bold, so it quickly got scrapped. Fulton versus Rifleman, Captain moving in, Puma almost done there for Paul.A.D. More Riflemen on the way there for Jove to replace the losses he suffered. Back to MP40 here for Paul.A.D. Though again, note he does seem to only stick with 2 squads upgraded, though if he's only going with 2 MP40s, he might as well upgrade the other 2 with assault rifles, since, you know, it even increases the long range firepower. Anyways, Fulton the Rifleman in the centre, expecting them to do too much with too little there. Paul is easily rebuffed by Jove. In the east, Fulton there, there's a Rifleman, backed up with a half-track most crucially. Puma moving in. Shoots and engages the half-track there nicely. Probably going to take it out there. Although we do have the Rifleman there with an anti-tank rifle in it, which could possibly stop a pursuit. And of course we've got the anti-tank on here on the... Ooh, nice use of smoke there. But the problem is, yeah, the anti-tank is still there. Also very crucially, an anti-aircraft half-track can actually tear through a Puma pretty fast if you're not careful. Like, they have a good rate of firing a decent amount of damage while standing still. It's why it can be so difficult to do when they're using, say, a pair of 2-2s. Paul, though, apparently is not worried about this at all. Immediately commits to the 2nd Puma, probably feeling he's got enough, you know, fuel advantages versus Jove. They can quickly compensate for the loss of the Puma with another Puma. Interesting choice there by Paul.A.D. Some players would just try to take a hit, but Paul.A.D is a believer in the Puma. Hopefully his beliefs are not misplaced. Troops are healing and forcing. 2nd Puma almost done there. Captain being slowly shot to bits. We've got Rifleman up the eastern side. Rifleman retreating. Captain on the run. Opening up, hitting the eastern fuel point, hitting the western point here as well with the echelons. Jove is certainly being flexible here versus Paul.A.D. Back here, healing reinforcement. We got weapon racks opened up, and we got BARs on the way there to Jove's infantry. I'd also not be surprised to see some bazookas end up in the hands of his rear echelons eventually. But hitting the eastern fuel point there, good play there by Jove. It's going to divert forces away from the front line. A major push to have to deal with this, since obviously Paul.A.D. wants fuel. Particularly since he went for a second Puma, he definitely wants a lot. Ability 2 then, the anti-aircraft half-tech already. I mean, obviously, an anti-aircraft taking out Puma is going to be still risky, and the Puma is in a lot of cases going to deal with it. But in this case, though, partly due to the smoke of just Paul.A.D. charging the Puma in, they just, didn't play to the Puma's strengths against the half-track. That, of course, was very much to Jove's advantage. There you go, direct hit from the Puma. Folks there versus the Rifleman. We got more MP40s out there for Paul.A.D. Another squad being sent eastwards, and there you go. Final squad is also now being equipped with MP40, so it's going to be for a total of 4. Jove now coming to pack houses to bombard Paul.A.D.'s positions. Pursuing here, but of course got the half track in the way. Puma's base in the east, they can't support there. OKW have no help deal with the half track, probably realising the way that Jove is taking his half track close to the anti-tank, and the Puma is going to find itself a bit of a harder time a lot of the time, so the anti-tank is probably going to be the better choice, or the OKW specifically is going to be the better choice to deal with the half track possibly for them. Rifleman versus Feuersturm and Feuersturm in this case is taking too much damage. There you go, grenade off, and it does really swing things in favour here for Paul, and there's a good chance they'll go getting a wipe. The only thing that sort of worked out here for Joe was he didn't at least drop off BAR for Paul.A.D. to pick up. Feuersturm versus Rifleman in the west, got the CoH2 point here. Back here we got troops reinforcing, and we've got Lekernef out there. And he's driving straight to the base here, a bold manoeuvre to try and take out the ambulance. Paul.A.D. here certainly is brazen, but sometimes that's what works. Almost got it, there we go. Pop goes, the Weasel takes a hit there, but at the same time, a successful raid. But there you go, Jove in an attempt to get vengeance there. It's going to upgrade with bazookas. Shots being fired there, need to pop smoke. There we go, and get out of there. Wow, that was some top-notch play there by Paul.A.D. Again, bold, risky, but in this case managed to sneak in and take out the ambulance. That's going to force Jove to go for another one, costing him precious manpower and fuel. And he probably wants to be taken out and going for some other stuff. And of course it also just, puts pressure on Jove in the sense that he can't feel his space is safe any longer. So that might cause Jove to have to make some decisions he doesn't want to, and might just slightly rattle him. And some players tend to be a bit rattled there when suddenly the opponent is attacking their base. Some players tend to get very defensive. More fortunate way that Paul.A.D. lost another squad there, but of course Jove has also lost infantry so far. They've been able to keep, I think, pretty decent pace in terms of wipes against each other. The only advantage, of course, is that Paul.A.D. lost the Puma, but compared to Jove only lost an ambulance. Again, with landing nicely on the half track, more rifle there arriving for Jove. Still no doctrine for Jove though. We're at the 30-minute mark, and there's still nothing there from Jove, which is a bit interesting. Considering a lot of the doctrines want him to go for it early to an extent to at least be able to get advantage of it. The fact that we've got nothing so far, stands a bit out. MD-34 there with 1 kill veteran to 1, pushing up here. Of course, the Bars here is also very good pick in the sense with all the MP40s. Again, he just increases longer range firepower as well. And of course means he's more able to counter the MP40s, which of course are absolutely terrible at range. But there you go, in this case, if you can't get them up close, in this case due to the machine gun drawing all the attention, so the Fulton is, it does allow him to just get close enough with the Fulton and then push back the rifles. And even with Bars up close against a lot of Fulton with MP40s, the Bars are going to fall short. Need to get the MD-35 farther, another ambulance away for Jove. Puma made another dashing raid there. Eastern fuel pump being seized again. Jove once more remaining in very good control of the map, having sort of good idea there where Paul is and isn't, and lastly striking here and there. Paul's going to go for the truck. That's going to be the Schwer Panzerhauptquartier. So he's going to be able to take out possibly faster than Jove for armor, though who gets out the first medium tank is going to be an entirely different matter. At least hard to predict. But again, both sort of reasonably aggressively harassing the other's fuel point. Ambulance out there for Jove. And the second armoured. Back here, troops reinforcing. additional fun fact about the Puma, but the turret was actually from an entirely different reconnaissance project. The vehicle project was actually a reconnaissance tank known as the Leopard, but it never got finished, and so instead they just took the turret that was designed for it and applied that to the Puma instead. Little fun fact. Troops moving eastwards, going for that fuel point. Puma there, good to go. After they're halfway to Veteran 3 and the ace level, but right now Joe's going to control most of the map versus Paul.A.D. is again, he wants most to build up in this regard. Paul.A.D. is very good to an extent attacking with this force, but he's not very good at holding a lot of ground. Admittedly, Jove's goals are going to start with time holding ground, so again there's going to be a lot of sort of big swings in that sense in terms of map control between the two. After they're moving in, but without anti-tank and support immediately available, there's a chance the Puma could perhaps take it out. Of course, there's also a chance, he gets overconfident again. This time, as you can see, they're getting just a few hits there, and he's already taking the Puma down to half health. So, I mean, again, while it's going to be tricky and it's going to depend a lot on how your opponent plays the Puma, and anti-aircraft half-tech can take it out. And again, it's not, I would say, a reliable counter. Troops are getting too close to the enemy base, getting suppressed here by the machine gun emplacement by the base. They could try and pop a smoke grenade, just, get them out of there that way. Oh, he's going to set up the scrap hunter squad to cover the victory point and the fuel point, that way freeing up his forces. Tends to be a common move, then again that allows him again to play more aggressively since he doesn't have to worry about his fuel point being harassed as much. So he can be sort of more offensive with that. So of course, on the hand, of course, it does also mean, since it's far out there, theoretically Joe could try to launch an assault to clear it out with a bunch of anti-tank guns and tanks. Joe, by the way, is taking up very good. He's also got a lot more fuel, so he's going to need to push for armor faster than Paul.A.D. So that's less good for Paul.A.D. there. From they're going for the rifle up close. He's clearly not afraid of the anti-tank rifle grenade here. He just favours pressuring the rifleman. Landing some nice hits there. Closing in a bit between the Puma, getting a lot of kills in the rifleman with the Puma. Half-tech moving up, the ace level, 8 kills, very good. Falling back in the east as we've got a small counter-attack here by Jove. Not entirely sure what they're retreating, could have been a misclick. Does happen. Forcing out the western side, not entirely reinforced. And go rifle strength and then Buford 4 getting suppressed here as they get hosed. Puma there falling back due to the assault there by Jove. He can't finish up the repairs, he just has to disengage and hope that Jove doesn't finish it off somehow. Jove always still hasn't chosen a doctrine. We're slowly approaching the 20-minute mark and Jove still hasn't really made a pick that seems to satisfy him, I guess. Major out there, so yeah, he can begin pushing for Shermans. He can go for EC8s. He can go for other stuff there, but yeah, he's going for the regular Sherman first. And of course, and then you could just say go for urban assault. Can't be equipped with a Sherman bulldozer blades to make it tough. I mean, there's options there for Joe, plenty of them. There you go. Schwer punted quarter reveal there to Jove. Now he knows where it is and that it exists. Of course, what he's going to do about it is an entirely different matter. That half-tech is proving to be very crucial for Jove, as again, he's going to be easily just lock down Paul.A.D's infantry movements and attacks, so it makes it much easier for Joe to control the map in that regard. Despite having the Puma, he's been struggling to deal with it. And again, lost one Puma to it, so I mean, that half-tech has been a massive success for Joe, and certainly shows what a well-handled anti-aircraft half-tech can do as well. Of course, they're taking a nasty hit from the pack howitzer. Apparently no one's... They're just staring at each other. They just can't see each other. Like, I know there's crowds out there, but I can't see them. I can see them, Carl. Shut up, Harry. Of course, they need to retreat. They're about to get murdered. Oh dear, Paul's forgotten about them entirely. And they're close to getting a 3-2 of that. That's going to be a bit unpleasant there for being routed rifleman. So that's less good there for Paul. He's got plenty of manpower. Markins and they're just upgrading to Orbital Dart now with light machine guns. That would put pressure on Joe's infantry with that. That could be very solid. Sherman there moving ahead. High explosive rounds up in the first place. Puma falling back. They're heavily damaged. He's going to need to get that fixed up swiftly. 384 versus 330. I mean, in victory points wise, Paul's got a bit of a lead. Then there's another reasonably close from the other side having a massive lead over the other one. But resource-wise, in terms of fuel, Joe's definitely in the lead, and again, partly due to that half-track. In fact, largely due to the half-track. Orbital on the way there for Paul.A.D. Yeah, more or less as figured, and get some light machines on them. They can really put some pressure on Joe's infantry. also sort of give him a bit better, so say, fields of fire. I mean, he's currently sort of got a lot of close quarters firepower, but he didn't actually sort of long range fire to compensate for it, and the orbital is going to be very helpful there. Picking out the Puma, McKinnon effort out, second one as well, so he's clearly looking to stall up. Might even want to try and go for the Panther instead, but then again, he may just stick to Panther 4 there, so of course that is the more common choice. But yeah, he's beginning to try and take out the Shroud Panther quarters. Puma's heading out. Bring ahead here with the Sherman, trained by Kedneff. Before swing out, they could threaten the flank of the Panther. Could allow him to take out the Sherman with a Puma. There we go, all the way down to less than half health. Jove there definitely, I think, made a bit of a mistake of sending in the Sherman unsupported at the Shroud Panther quarters. Taylor was already attacking it. It was kind of signaling to Paul.A.D it's going to be attacked there. So, yeah, that was kind of like what, Paul did with his first Puma against the anti-aircraft, more or less, So that's going to help Paul.A.D out a lot. I mean, he just took out a Sherman for next to nothing, really. And that was more or less a factory fresh Sherman there for Joe, so that kind of sucks for him. That's really going to give Paul.A.D a chance to sort of swing back. Though Joe is now finally committing to a doctrine here, and it's actually past the training mark, but he's gone for armor. Bulldozer Sherms help deal with infantry, or M10s to help fight the arm. We'll have to see. Either way, though. Certainly going to be seeing some heavier stuff there. Orbital Darden closing on the munitions required for the light machine gun. West side could see a bit more action there from Paul.A.D. But again, now that Shroud Panther quarters are hanging about there, it's at the same time also kind of like, something he has to defend to an extent. So he might actually sort of, oh no, place himself in a really bad spot. But yeah, lost the Sturm Pioneers there. To a direct hit from the Pack Howitzer. Bit of a trick there, but usually if you're going to sort of repair stuff like that, try to place them behind it. So the sort of Shroud Panther quarter at least have a better chance of absorbing fire around as he did there. Roughly in front of it, meaning the shots more likely to just hit them. But there you go, Bulldozer Sherman out there for Jove. McKinnon cleared out. Paul.A.D is beginning to take some harsh losses again versus Jove. Ooh, managed to suppress them so they can't actually recruit. You can't recruit weapons when you're suppressed, if I remember correctly. Boom, getting out the damaged engine. Oh no, full system forward here. Pioneers out to replace the ones lost. He can go for the Panther 4, but again, he may decide to go for the Panther to help deal with armor more efficiently. Grenades off there from Jove, so he's already searched those. Very good. And there you go, half-take going for the Puma. It's going to be the second Puma loses the half-take, isn't it? Yes. But he does get the half-take and end here with MP40 slicing through the last bits of health. That's two half-tracks. Two Pumas down to that anti-aircraft half-take in the end. Hey, some extremely good value for that half-track. Extremely good. And there goes Sherman up point blank here against the Fulton. He's tearing them asunder with high explosive power. They might get a wipe here on the rifleman. Might slightly compensate for some of the losses. There you go, Fulton Squad wiped out. The casualties just keep piling in on Paul. There's a brutal series of engagements there. And Joe certainly came out ahead. I was about to say Paul did, but he definitely did not came ahead out of those. Going for the Panther 4. If you had planned for the Panther, that plan is definitely in the bin for now. Back here, troops in reinforcing, short on munitions due to all the Panther fast and whatnot, so they can't upgrade with a light machine gun. I mean, the opposite with that light machine gun is still pretty solid infantry, but they obviously benefit a lot from it. White Phosphorus down to cover an assault, it seems, or maybe just act as a distraction here against Paul.A.D. That's possible. He's also bound to begin to move towards the west again. Seems like you remember that part of the map also exists. Panzer 4 there, almost done there for Paul.A.D. and the Panzer Division. Rifleman ahead here. 6 kills, veterans 1, Sherman good to go. Got the bazooka team moving about as well. Going ahead here. There you go, Panther 4 Model J out there for Paul.A.D. Closing on that light machine gun once more. Will he go for it this time around, or will it once more sort of be more of a suggestion than an actual thing? Like more an illusion dream. Can't quite find the right word for it. Anyways, troops moving out the west side here. Big push for the cemetery now, trying to catch Joe off guard here with a big push there. Of course, Joe's now making a big push for the Shroud Panther quarters. Again, he can help defend, but at the same time, if you don't at least sort of screen it off properly, and you can leave yourself with a really big weak spot out there. Panther 4 charging after the captain. I mean, theoretically, if we were to launch a counter-attack into the flank of Joe's assault, that'd be pretty effective, but it looks like he doesn't particularly care about that. Not entirely sure, in fact, what Paul.A.D is planning with that. But he's losing the sharp-pointed quarters without a doubt. He's going for another truck, so at this point it looks like he's just going to try and somehow solve for the King Tiger next. Which is ambitious, considering the current circumstances. Not impossible, but, you know, ambitious. Retreating there from the cemetery now, losing the lumber area there to Jove's advancing forces. Rifleman's pressed there by the MG-34, troops are healing and forcing, truck setting out. M10 on the way there for Jove to help deal with armour, put more pressure on Paul's Panzer IV. Close hit there. Yep, Battle Group headquarters, so likely it's going to be a King Tiger play next. Need to fix up the Panzer IV though. 309 versus 326. It's now Joe's turn to be in slight control of the victory points here over Paul. Rifleman setting out. Panzer IV there, you need repairs obviously. And we almost got the M10 tanks, so they're ready for Jove. Quite there, almost got the centre victory point. M10 out, heading for the Western Fuel and victory point to reclaim that from the Germans. Panzer will get Rifleman in a pretty tricky spot. The rest of the Panzer have to retreat. Oh no, he hasn't fully reinforced. He's just committing it to combat again because he has to, which is actually a surprisingly common thing as the war went on for the Germans. Like tanks would be, you know, for example, in cases lacking treads, but while they're being sent back into combat because they're lacking spare parts, but also time to sort of get them fully fixed up. So I suppose you could argue Paul is being historically accurate here. Continuing down the eastern side here for Jove. That Panzer IV bar is going to have a really rough time against that, since again it's already low on health. And there you go, easy penetrating hit here from the M10. No, there's no anti-tank weapons to back up. Clearly, Paul.A.D was not anticipating the M10 to go for it, or to arrive, so he's probably going to try and see if he can't get the Panzer out of here, but chances of getting out of there are slim. Very slim. Nope, over here Joe's taking a much longer path here, probably to try and stay clear of any other Kednevs like you can anticipate coming in there. But also just sort of slightly more threatens any sort of easy retreat path for the Panzer IV. Force him to take more and more that might expose him to other troops nearby from the front line. And there he goes, sneaking up again. Clever play there by Jove, and takes out Paul.A.D's Panzer IV. He's now without tanks for any foreseeable future. So well played there by Jove, well played. And Paul.A.D's situation is looking only more and more grim. More photos there for Paul.A.D, since, well, it's either that or Sturm Pioneers. MG-34 opening up there, slowly approaching, very slowly approaching Veterans 3. We'll have to see if we get to it. He goes for a lot of photos on this, actually goes for an MG-34 as well, until being called in the machine gun, forcing Joe to, or Paul to pull that one back. It's obviously Joe forcing it to pull back, but second Bulldozer Sherman out there to put more pressure than Paul.A.D's infantry. And obviously, again, Joe at this point is quite aware of what Paul.A.D has and doesn't. Obviously, he lost his previous one, so obviously he has to go for one. But still, you know, now that Paul.A.D's largely down just for infantry, again, there's no tank, so there's a lot less of a threat to the Bulldozer Sherman. And again, it's just going to be great versus Paul.A.D. All of a sudden, finally equipped with the light machine gun, almost about to get entombed though within the house there. That would have been not exactly a joyous moment there for Paul.A.D and his orbital down. 260 versus 326. The situation for Paul.A.D is rapidly deteriorating here versus Jove. He's trying to hold up the lines, but they get struggling. There you go. Kev's creeping up. They're taking out some good hits on the M10. Don't think he's going to be able to finish it off. Again, they do lack the range when they do sort of that attack. It's very quick to get out of their line of fire. So they're requiring him to either sort of get them closer to the M10, so sort of decrease the chance of getting out of the arc of fire. Somehow that he'd have to catch Jove attacking forwards with the M10, at which point again it'd be much harder for it to get out of there. But anyways, a rifle assault here on the right flank is giving Paul.A.D a very rough time as well. Sturm pass up close, but Versus Raptor and BAR, so Sturm Pioneers simply put lack the firepower and pressing to stop them. Got the also moving up their veterans who won. In light cover, they should have a shot here, particularly they also have maybe a chance to pop up a grenade. But there you go, Raptor quickly dropping. Again, the light machine gun again just really adds some serious fire to the Orbison Garden. 5 kills, but now they've pushed out the heavy cover. The Raptor have a much easier chance, but all the bastard just hose them down. Oh, wiped by the Sherman. Another devastating blow there to Paul.A.D, who really can't afford any devastating blows at this point. He's already hanging on by a thread, and Jove is just viciously cutting away at that thread. Focus the Sturm Pioneers moving ahead. Quick grenade. Sturm Pioneers under fire, heading eastwards there.
We're losing a capture point.
And the Major is routed. 170 left points left here for Paul.A.D. 326 for Jove. Is there any hope for Paul.A.D? Is there some way out of this darkness, this madness? Fighting positions up. Jove is definitely trying to again close off every possibility here that Paul.A.D somehow bounces back. Like he's taking no chances, which is obviously again the right approach. Take no chances. Absolutely minimize any possibility the opponent can somehow find an exit to their misery. And somehow actually turn the game around. So good play there by Jove. Good play. Fortunately up to deal with the captain. Certainly a good sign of caution and thinking ahead. Bringing to the side there. White phosphorus down again to just disrupt any point of Paul doing anything in that area. Plenty of resources there being floated. He could easily go, I think, for another bulldozer Sherman and just begin bombarding Paul.A.D very heavily. Who's going for another Fultz Grenadier squad. He's just struggling now to keep infantry alive for long enough since they just get rapidly killed. The rifleman moving up. Sherman sending out. Quick hit there. 138 versus 326, and that's going to be quickly dropping down as he grabs the Eastern victory point. Sherman charging it. We got Lycadrum setting up, but with only one Lycadrum, it might not be fast enough. There go damage engine. Perhaps a chance here for Paul. Perhaps a slimmer of hope somehow, but yeah, probably not. Push from the center victory point. Sturm Pioneers advancing on their own. We got another fighting position up here for Jove. Very good. They probably should get that one upgraded as well. Or at least just pop into it. As you can see there again, he's just trying to lock down the victory points and whatnot. Again, just trying to eliminate Paul.A.D's approaches and chances. Focus Sturm finally go. Got Rifle Nades being launched here by the reactions inside the fighting position. Captain doing what he can. Eastern points being seized here. We got Major being routed. And there you go, 5th cal being added here as well. We got 114 versus 326. And again, as you see there, he pushes for the Western victory point and fighting position in the way.
We're losing a capture point.
Again, they are easily paying off, and they are very much just closing down any of Paul.A.D's opportunities, any of his options, which is exactly what they're meant to do.
Keep up the pressure. They're down to 100 points.
MG-34 again coming ahead, their troops being suppressed. Grenades here on the MG-34, wiping it out. Paul is desperately, frantically throwing himself at Jove's lines. There you go, managed to take out the fighting position, but could risk losing like Kevin for training before backing up. But can it be enough here for Paul.A.D? I mean, he's disrupting Jove's positions a bit. He's doing some damage. And Jove just seems to be holding back his vehicles against Paul.A.D for now. Perhaps awaiting some sort of maneuver. Oh, bounced up troops to take a hit from a grenade there, almost costing the Sturm Pioneers. MG-34 recruit here by Jove. We got 80 versus 326. And now it's going to work with him trying to take out the fighting position. And still he's getting pinned down, and there's infantry able to counterattack now to clear out the Raketen Alphas. Soon he gets it. It's not really going to give him a lot of ground. 72 versus 326. Paul.A.D keeps fighting. He's coming to a Puma now, probably having getting out with the King Tiger Dream. At this stage, I don't think a Puma's going to matter much, and a King Tiger probably don't much either. Almost got a wipe there. Few men surviving. Ralph Nevers the MG34. And the MG45 retreating as now Joe's just trying to stay to Paul.A.D's base here. With the boulders, Sherman landing some devastating hits there, tearing up more Paul.A.D's infantry. 56, or 54 actually, goes to 326. More kills. There's 16 kills in the Sherman. Close to veteran 2. 50. 48. Pat Carter firing away. Shot bounced off the Sherman's armour. Second bounce. So I mean, at this stage, the Puma's just not even going to achieve much. Direct hit there, and that's going to get finished off by the rehearsing for the bazooka. Akennefer down to the pack howitzer. Paul's forces now completely collapsing, and there go GG, game over. A victory there for Jove, a loss for Paul.A.D. Paul.A.D definitely had some moments here and there, particularly in the early game, but as the game went on, and particularly I feel like the double Pumas ended up costing him a bit there. So I think that was some issues, plus some minor tactical issues. I think also allowed Jove to sort of slowly get hit, then sort of just crush Paul.A.D, strangling him of any oxygen chances of winning. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it, tell a friend, tell a family, but don't tell your enemies. And if you like the Propagandacast and what I do on a daily basis, do consider donating or pledging on Patreon. This is Imperial and cheers. Thank you for watching. You're all a wonderful audience. Hope to see you all tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.